Well, how was it? Did you have a nice weekend?
My weekend was actually really, really busy, but I'm I'm really proud of myself. So I had the food stock gala ball
Oh, nice.
in the Europa on Saturday night. So I help out with food stock.
Mm-hmm.
I had the gala ball, which was amazing, and they raised a lot of money. And I had a family christening on Sunday, and I didn't drink at either event, just
Brilliant.
because I have a really, really busy day today.
Mm-hmm.
And I wear the whoop, and what I love about it, it's black or white. Even if you have two beers or two glasses of wine, it shows you the next day on your whoop, and
Mm.
it just helps you make informed decisions. So I stayed off the drink for both events. I drove, and as much as it was a busy weekend, I feel great come Monday morning for it.
That's great.
Hmm.
Glad to hear it. It's good having those wee wins, isn't it?
Yeah,
To feel
yeah,
like you had a bit of discipline.
totally.
Yeah,
Totally. I'm a huge, huge fan of discipline. I think it's the key to freedom, really.
yeah.
Doing the things that you have to do.
Sleep has been a big one for me
Yeah.
recently. It's very easy, putting Liam to bed and after 8 o'clock, and you think, well, now here's my chance to watch something, like maybe have a wee drink or the
Yeah.
the you know have a few snacks or whatever and stay up. But you feel it the
Totally.
next day. So a couple of times recently I've went, no, it's 9:30 now. At you,
Yeah.
you know.
I think sleep is the number one pillar to recovery. Like you
Hmm.
can eat well, you can train well, you can work well, but if you're not getting enough sleep, then it's game over. You're
Yeah,
not recovering as well as you could be.
yeah. Well, we're here to talk about this new venture. Tell us.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to know what? I actually promised myself that I would never do a solo episode
Yeah,
because I'm much more interested in other people's stories. But I feel so passionate about this Fit Founders Club
yeah.
that I'm launching in January that I thought, not me, but I think that the Fit Founders Club is more than deserved of a space on the podcast. And I suppose I want to take this time to communicate and articulate what it is
Hmm.
and who it can help. And I suppose, like, over the last 5 years, I have worked with hundreds of founders, of business owners and leaders in many different capacities, whether it's one-to-one coaching, whether it's group coaching through the Natural Resilience online community, or even high-end wellbeing retreats for leaders. And I understand the mindset and the psyche of these people. And because I've had a lot of, I suppose, personal conversations, I also know the other side of the coin. And as much as these people have built fantastic businesses and they've scaled companies and they're every inch the entrepreneur, a lot, like, this is a general statement, but I see a lot of founders, both male and female, both at the startup phase and right through to kind of C-suite, that are suffering with burnout,
Hmm.
chronic stress, depression, anxiety, relationships and marriages are on the rocks, with their partners, they're not seeing their kids as much. And I think, well, myself, and I think I speak for a lot of founders, you kind of get into business because you're passionate about your product or service, but you want a certain lifestyle. And a big part of that lifestyle that you dream of is freedom. Freedom to control your own diary, freedom to take days off when you want to, freedom
Hmm.
work with certain clients. And the reality is the very freedom that people are trying to taste has turned into a prison that's holding them back and trapping them within their business. Um, and I've been there. I've been there. I talk about the performance paradox where you're good at something. And the fact that you're good at something, the fact you're passionate about something means that you can take it on a journey and grow it. But then the other side is that you're constantly on the other end of a phone. You're having to do all the tasks. Like, if I think of a founder at a particular stage, they're doing the marketing, they're doing the sales, they're doing the operations, the finances, plus delivering the product or service itself. Like, it's all encompassing. And, you know, I am running and growing a business behind the scenes of this podcast and behind the scenes of Natural Resilience. And I would say I've jumped 2 feet into life. I've 2 kids, I've had a career, I've represented Northern Ireland in weightlifting. And I would say the last 5 years of growing a business has been more stressful, and all that put together, it's an emotional roller coaster. It takes its toll on the body, it takes its toll on the mind, it takes its toll on relationships, your health. And the Fit Founders program, or the Fit Founders Club, is what I believe is the first 12-month accelerator program that puts the most important asset of any business at the forefront, which is the human being. It's the founder, it's the business owner, and it's yes, it's a, you're keeping your marketing and sales and financial metrics, but what about your sleep? What about your heart health? What about
Mm.
your stress levels? What about your relationships with your nearest and dearest? So it's something different, but it's something I'm deeply, deeply passionate about, as natural resilience is very person centric.
Yeah.
All our events have been about creating community. It's about bringing people together. It is about that human connection, networking, authenticity. And the reality is, the business world has tried to sweep this under the carpet to say it's part and parcel of the game. You must do the 20-hour shifts. You must go through that period of poor health and so on and so forth. I don't believe that's true. I do believe in hard work. I'm not for one part saying that. And the program is hard work. It's immersive. It's going to bring your business on, but not at the expense of your physical, mental, and emotional health.
Hmm. And what way will this work for people that want to be involved in the program? What way does this play out?
So I was in Spain a couple of weeks ago with 11 business leaders, and I got a lot of clarity that week, in particular around the power of like-minded people coming together. So this isn't about me. This is a group of 20 people. It's being kept at 20 because I think it keeps the intimacy of the group, and it's not for everyone.
Hmm.
It's not for everyone. It's people that probably have started a business, that have taken it to a particular level or milestone and want to grow beyond that and create a bit more freedom, a bit more health, and a bit more wealth as well for themselves. But the structure is 12 months. So there's a start, middle, and an end, which I think is important. And it's hybrid. So there is a meeting of that group once per month in person, which I think is the big sale. I think it's very, very important. Having experienced it over the last few years, that when you are in a room with great people, only great things can happen. The conversations are different. And I think, and I truly believe that the monthly in-person meetups are the selling point. Um, Within the year as well, there's quarterly summits, like intensive full day summits. So the first summit is on creating your roadmap using the founder operating system. It's creating a very agile vision for your company. It is also creating your vision as a founder. Who do you need to become in order for your
Hmm.
business to flourish? So I believe that your business development never outperforms your personal development, and your personal development never outperforms your health. So again, who do you need to become? It's not a time problem that founders have, it's often an energy problem. So
Hmm.
who do you need to become? What does your energy levels need to be at consistently for you to scale your business? The second summit is all around marketing. The third one is around sales and scales. And then the fourth one is around finances and operations. But I've kind of broken the 12 months into quarters. Um, because what I believe happens in other courses, and this isn't that I've benefited immensely from a lot of other courses, but how I've felt at times is, you do maybe a workshop on, say, for example, creating your vision. And then you go home and you can't remember certain stuff, and you forget certain things, and then life happens and you're doing school pickups, and then all of a sudden you feel a bit pressurized. And generally what happens is people get a bit frustrated and don't do it, or um, the how good it could be is a bit diluted because there's that time pressure there. So I want to try something different, which is, we do it together as a group of founders, and no founders left behind. We're all go on this journey together,
Mm.
but you do it in person with a workbook, both paper and electronic. The class, the workshop is then recorded, and you're sent a recording should you wish to kind of catch up in your own time. But most importantly, 2 weeks later, we jump on a call, and it's like, right, okay, how are you getting on? What do you need clarified? Where's the
Hmm.
bottlenecks? If I don't know the answer, somebody in the group will. If nobody in the group
Hmm.
knows the answer, I'll go and find it from a network of experts that I have access to. So we're kind of doing this together. It's yes, it's about you as an individual and your individual business, but no founders left behind. The group is key to this. The group is where the magic exists. And so the group really brings everyone on. So it is hybrid in many ways, where you
Mhm.
commit to showing up one day per month, but then there's online calls, online workbooks, and ultimately, an element of personal responsibility. As much as you're guided to grow your business and to be healthier, ultimately it's on you as a founder to make better choices and better decisions. And, my job is to help facilitate those by bringing in experts in various fields, from not just scaling your business, but right down to, we're bringing in a chef, for example, to show you how to make nutrient dense food when you're time poor, bringing in a sleep doctor to show you how to get better sleep and better sleep hygiene, bringing in a
Mhm.
performance psychologist to show you how to improve your mobility so that you can train even if you have a niggly injury. But ultimately it's on you to prepare the better food, do the
Mhm.
exercises that the physio's given you, to go to bed that bit earlier, to reduce alcohol. So it's not bypassing the emphasis on personal responsibility, but it's increasing your odds for making better decisions.
Yeah. And that's great. The collaborative thing there and the sort of camaraderie that it being a group and
Yeah,
sort of other people helping keep you responsible too. Yes, it falls back on you, but
yeah,
having other people there to,
yeah.
I think that's great. Who do you want to work with here? Like, so who's this for?
Yeah, and that is, I suppose, I have taken a lot of confidence in myself in recent months and years in my ability to deliver something like this, and it's not for everyone. I it's somebody that is ambitious. It is somebody that's willing to take personal responsibility on their health and well-being as well as their business. And it's somebody that's willing to invest time first and foremost and turn up to the events.
Yeah.
Somebody that's willing to invest energy. It's somebody that's willing to change. The reality is, founders will have current habits that they need to let go of for this to work, which can be a bit of a shift in identity. So somebody that's open-minded, um, irregardless of what your business is or what industry it's in or what stage you're at. It's, for me, it's more around their personality and their character. Are they willing to commit to 12 months to better themselves? And I truly believe that it takes a period of time. If anyone has the discipline to be consistent over a period of time, they will get results. That's just a fact of life. If you are disciplined consistently over a period of time, I think what happens now is, in today's society, we want everything yesterday.
Mhm.
So you'll see like a 4-week transformation to get healthier and lose weight. You'll see £99 course to do A, B, and C. But for me, I am fully confident that I can help transform people's personal and professional lives in this 12-month period. And I suppose, just to be really clear, this isn't anything about me, Kieran May. I've just been very blessed the last few years to have a network of exceptional people that I'm reaching out to say, can we borrow your expertise? And that's like, yes, I'm helping facilitate the monthly workshops, but there's guests coming in at every single phase. So I've leaned out to experts in sales. I've lent out, experts in finances for business. The same with marketing. I'm not an expert in any of those fields.
Mm.
And I think that's very, very important. I think a lot of business courses make these outlandish claims that they can transform people's businesses in 12 months. The reality is, a lot of the people that have signed up so far are way beyond where I am in business.
Mm.
But I know the experts that can take them that
Yeah.
bit further.
So you're getting access to a whole network.
You're getting access to the genuine experts. I suppose, to go over a few of them. Stephen Alloway, who will be on the podcast soon, is somebody I have a massive amount of respect for. He's a business mentor. He's an investor. He has an amazing talk and amazing story, but essentially he scaled a very successful business, both from a personnel point of view, and a culture point of view, but also financial. And he has a great workshop called Run Your Business Today, like you're going to sell it tomorrow. And it's to get people to start being aware of the numbers and the metrics and the data behind the business. It is very hard to get access to people like that when you're a founder.
Mm.
You know, it is very hard to get access to people and say, can I run my business metrics past you? Can I get an hour of your time? Stephen's coming in to deliver a workshop for these people. He's going to use and he's going to show them and give them the two templates that he used to scale his business significantly. With Dr. Iceland Rice, who's one of the top female entrepreneurial leaders in Northern Ireland. What she doesn't know about SMEs probably isn't worth knowing. She's sailed or sold to the biggest companies around the world and is coming in to deliver a workshop on selling and also scaling. She continues to work with some of the biggest companies in Ireland, North and South, in the UK. I mean, she's a highly, highly sought after consultant and director. She's coming in to deliver a workshop on that. So that I think is a massive, massive selling point, that these people that you can't usually get access to, you're going to have private access to them, but not in a, massive hall. Like, this is being kept to 20
Yeah.
people. So it's intimate. You're going to get to look into the whites of their eyeballs. They ask them the questions to get them to scan over your business to see where you can improve. We have, an AI expert coming in, for example. Again, my knowledge in that's minimal at best, but I'm bringing in a CEO of an AI company that's going to look at people's businesses to say, well, here's how you can use AI to get more freedom. Here's how to use it with your marketing, your sales, your tasks, all
Mhm.
that, as opposed to being afraid of it. Here's how I can simplify it for you. So a big part of it is about the experts you have access to throughout the duration of the 12 months. I think that's the biggest selling point, really.
Mhm.
And natural resilience. And Kira May's job is just to, between those monthly meetups, to ensure that the group is moving in momentum towards the next one. It's layered. So we start at month 1 and we finish at month 12. And, everything you do leads on to the next one, so to speak. There's a reason for everything. I suppose if I give you an overview of the first quarter, it might explain it a bit better. But everyone that has signed up so far has received a VIP ticket to my big event in January, which is just a gift. And the reason I've gifted it to people is so that I can put them all at the same tables and they get to meet each other for the first time. Because I
Yes.
think the group is very, very important. Our first workshop is a week after. It's the first summit, so to speak, a full day. And you get your founder operating system, you start to fill it in. I've brought in a business coach called John Heenan, former TEDx speaker that is delivering off the back of his couple of hour workshop. You will come away with a 1-page document with it, which is your map for the rest of the year. The second month, we have a private mastermind with Seamus Fox, who is a human behavior and performance expert. He's going to show you through a determination process what your values are as a business owner,
Mhm.
the role that your health has in your values, how to link your personal values to your business values. And the whole emphasis around that is to begin the process of systemizing and delegating your business.
Mhm.
So we want these founders to do the biggest tasks that they're best in a position to do, and to start the process of automating and delegating all the low value tasks. And then our third month, we've got a guy called Dave Cordner coming in, who he runs a business with over 100 Airbnbs and works, I think, something like 12 hours a week.
Mhm.
He's obsessed with systems. And so he's going to begin the process of systemizing things and ideally removing the founder from every single granular detail of the business. And this is a metric that we want to actually measure, which is, how can we get people back their most important asset, which is their health and their freedom?
Yeah.
So yes, these business owners will make more money because of the experts we're bringing in, but it's not just about that. How do you get back more time? How do you get your relationships back? And how do you get your health back?
You mentioned about how founders often find themselves in this jail and strip away some of that freedom through stress and burnout. And you said that you found yourself there. When did you have that sort of moment to realize that you were in that? And where does the lessons from that come into the mentoring for
Yeah.
this?
If I'm honest, I've been there several times. There's the constant ups and downs, the constant peaks and valleys. And it is like with every time you grow your business, there's more responsibility. So pressures come and go. And,
Mhm.
I'm, as much as this is a lot around founder well-being, I'm not naive enough to say you will never be stressed during this 12-month program. I suppose one thing I didn't mention, which is important for this story, is everyone as a welcome gift will receive a Whoop, which is a wearable device that measures your heart rate, it measures your stress levels, it measures your HRV, it measures sleep, your steps, all that. And the reason I think that's so important is I'm quite a visual learner. Whoop, there's no hiding space. Whoop tells you if you're green and, good energy, you found your flow, you can have your creativity, you can perform well. Yellow, in that you probably need to, start thinking about getting back to green. And there's red, which is burnout. And for the month of September, and probably a week before, so about 6 weeks in total, I was in the green about 3 days out of 6 weeks. I was in yellow for the vast majority of it and the odd red. Very stressed. The reality is my life and a lot of other business owners' lives just isn't about the business. There's kids, there's school runs, there's football runs in the evening, there's other parts of life that need your attention. And I just couldn't get the balance right. I couldn't
Mhm.
find the answer. And what happens is we inadvertently sleepwalk into that period of stress, and then we wonder, why am I here? But we just haven't had the capacity to recognize all the signs.
Mhm.
Then recently, I went to Spain and I ate whole foods. My diet was much cleaner. We flew on a private chef for this leadership retreat. No alcohol. I had good sleep every night. Great company. So you're hitting all those pillars. Like, health is simplistic. You do things for your physical health with a bit more movement. Your mental health, good sleep. You know your stress triggers. Your emotional health, in that you do things that allow you to, I suppose, decompress. And then the social health, which is spending time with good people. So I just had a very simplistic life for the guts of a week. And for the first time in 6 weeks, I was just green every day. And it made me realize that, you know, when I put myself first, I get so much energy, so much clarity. I'm more creative. I'm in a much better position to drive and lead my organization forward, but it has to come back to me.
Mhm.
And I think we spend so much time looking after our customers, answering to a board, um, you know, helping your team, that we often forget ourselves, the leader or the founder. And Spain was a real wake up call to me, in that I'm the author of my own health. I was blaming circumstances, I can't get out of this busy loop and so on and so forth. And the reality was, it was an excuse. And I
Mhm.
think you have all these problems in life until you have a health problem. And when you have a health problem, you only have one problem. And unfortunately, when it comes to our health, we don't really give it the emphasis it deserves until we're sick, or until somebody very close to us is sick. And then you make better decisions around your lifestyle. And for me, I truly believe, and as a business owner myself that's quite ambitious, I believe within every ounce of my being that burnout can be avoided,
Mhm.
and it should be avoided. And there's a system to avoid it. And I love the quote by James Clear. He says that we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. And for me, the body is the best system we have when it comes to feedback. We just choose to ignore it. And I want to give people within the founder operating system self-reflection tools, the likes of the Whoop, that gives you, black and white data, um, and one-to-one and group coaching, to show them that when they listen to their body, when they know when to pull back and not just push forward, when they know the importance of recovering both cognitively and physically, then that step back allows for massive progress forward. The thing
Yeah.
with the business world is, if you look at athletes in the corporate world, I think founders are something like 12 times more likely to suffer from burnout than an Olympic athlete, which is insane. Um, but when you look at the world of sport, they train a lot and perform very little. So they're constantly in a state of preparation, and then they perform, they go all in for that small performance. In the business world, we try and perform all the time and prepare very little. And even though we try and perform, and then we wonder why we're tired. So we don't prepare for the performance, and we don't recover from the performance. And so we're in this constant feedback loop of stress and burnout and cognitive overload. And it does not have to be like that, but it just needs a few changes. And the Fit Founders Club is about providing a platform for those changes to take place. And it is a bit of a mindset shift, but I suppose for anyone that's listening, it is asking yourself over the last couple of years as a founder, has your marriage been on the rocks? Has your health been in decline? Has your relationship with your kids grown distance? Has your business relationships grown distance because of your stress levels? Are you in a dark place at times? If the answer is yes, then is it worth it? What is the cost of winning at all costs? Are you going to get to the end and say, yeah, I made £1 million, but my wife or my husband broke up with me. I'm drinking too much. My kids don't really bother with me anymore. And I've lost all my friends because I've just went all in at this. If you think it's worth it, then this course isn't for you. But if you're thinking, do you want to know what? I want to grow my business, but not at the expense of my mental and physical well-being, not at the expense of my relationships and my stress levels. I want to grow as a business owner too, as a human being. Then I would say that it's definitely worth considering.
Yeah, because that's the message here. It's not personal health at the expense of growth.
Yeah.
It's alongside growth. And there's all those things that we can't control, that stresses that come at us that come from random life, but the systems is something we can't control, isn't it? And,
Yeah.
but this is a bit countercultural at the minute, isn't it? Because I think the things we see online coaching really pushes this hustle culture, this, you have to be out there 20 hours a day. If you want to make your business work, if you want to hit those goals that you want, you have to be putting everything and all into it. So this is going against the grain a bit.
It is and it isn't. I think for me, it's based on fact. A lot of what you see on social media is in fact it's marketing. That's just the reality of it. People, business coaches and that, they're good at marketing, and because they're good at marketing doesn't necessarily mean they're good at scaling a business or that they care about your health. And that's fact as well. I remember reading a book on leadership years ago that said that your ability to lead people is in direct proportion to how much pressure you can withstand. And I think that's right. It's one side of the coin, but I would add a caveat to that, which is so long as you have a release valve for that pressure, a release valve that's healthy. So what you tend to see, again, it's the elephant in the room in the corporate world, but there's a lot of alcohol abuse, there's a lot of caffeine abuse, there's a lot of pornography abuse, there's a lot of eating on the go, just like this craving and chasing of dopamine, because people are just trying to fill a void because they are putting all their energy into a business, and life has become a bit robotic. I think for me, people are no longer chasing status. So perhaps in the business world at one point, people were chasing status. And what I mean by that, a sign of success would have been certain holidays, certain watches, certain clothes. I think people now are starting to chase longevity as opposed to status. I do genuinely believe people are starting to chase longevity. They want years as opposed to designer clothes. And the reality is, for longevity, it's about you, the founder. Clothes don't give you extra years. It is about you as a founder. It's about your heart health. It's about your cellular health. It's about your breath. It's about your movement. It's about your brain. It's about your relationships. And these things, there's studies that are starting to come to the fore to support all this. Like Harvard University did a massive study, an 80-year study on adult development, that shows that the key to a long life is nothing to do with fame or fortune. It's all to do with the quality of your relationships. So there was a show on Netflix about the Blue Zones, where it went around various parts of the world, from Japan to Sicily, LA. places where there's a high percentage of people living into their hundreds.
Mhm.
And the answer isn't in processes and strategies and frameworks and KPIs. It's down to basics. It was down to diet. It was down to quality of sleep. It was down to a sense of community. It's all these things that human beings have always had up until recently, where disconnection is a pandemic. You know, there's so many people, so many founders suffer from loneliness. So
Mhm.
Ireland came out on a European study as the loneliest country in Europe, which is mental. Bearing in
Wow.
mind we have the gift of the gab and we're known for our hospitality, it came out as the loneliest country in Europe. And I think a large although I don't have the data on this, a large percentage, I would say, as business founders, where you've grown a business by yourself and you're trying to do it all by yourself, and it is stressful, it is lonely, it's bleak at times. And but ultimately, I think that loneliness and that overwhelm and that sense of isolation is holding people back from life, because to grow a business, it takes collaboration, it takes community.
Mhm.
And this is what an awful lot of this is about. It's about introducing people to a community of 20 other like-minded people. It's about forming a tribe as that group where we all support each other. No one gets left behind. You know, the success of the group is if everyone gets, you know, far exceeds what they were expecting. But with regards to countering that hustle culture, like there is, and there's still hard work. You know, I'm not saying this is about avoiding the hard work. I would argue, you asked me at the start, what is the type of person I want? It's somebody that's already worked hard. It's somebody that's taken their business to a certain level, and now it's time to work smart.
Mhm.
You know, now it's time to, instead of sitting up to midnight on your laptop, it's spending the evening at home with your family. Instead of, you know, getting to the weekend and not having the energy to get out of bed, it's about creating and enjoying free time. Instead of, you know, working every hour God sent, still not paying yourself. It's about paying yourself first, and growing your financial health too. So um, I don't think it's against the grain when you look at fact. I do, but it's perhaps against the grain when you look at um, unhealthy marketing on social media. But that's not what I'm interested in. I'm not here for that. I'm here for to help, genuinely help and transform founders' lives for the better. Doing what I can do with regards to founder well-being, but also bringing in experts from the likes of Whoop, chefs such as Stevie Beatty, sleep coaches, financial coaches, sales coaches, marketing coaches, and to give people the best chance of success.
Brilliant. And if I can put you on the spot
Hmm.
for a minute, I want you to give me 5 different words that sort of give me the pillars of what this is about.
Okay. Health, transformation, community, wealth, and freedom.
Nice.
This is very simplistic. Like this isn't this, you know, it is simplistic, but simple works. The reality is people have a lot on their plate, and sometimes when you give them too much, it's overwhelming. This is all around simplifying their daily routines, simplifying their sales processes, simplifying their marketing. It's about simplifying their lives. I mean, this is a key metric we want to measure here is freedom. You know, we want people. What do you get into business for? So you don't have to ask for a day off. You don't have to ask for a break. You don't have to. We want freedom. We want freedom and live a certain lifestyle, and it's to
Yeah.
help people create that too. I think it's important that Sean as well to point out, like, there's a lot of thought that's went into this. It isn't about a wing and hope process. Like, a lot of it's going to be talking about where you want to go, and who you need to become to get there. But I've actually created a tool, a number of tools before you even sign up, a bit like business diagnostics. So it's asking people, like, do you know your cash flow? Do you know your
Mm.
financial health? You know, do you know your marketing metrics? Do you know your sales pipeline? Do you know your operations? Do you have people you can delegate to, automate? So people will get a report before they even start on where they are. I think it's important to know where you are now and then build from that,
Uh-huh.
and using technology to give you just black or white
That's it.
answers on that. So again, there's no second guessing. The likes of the Whoop, again,
Yeah.
we're not guessing on what your stress levels are, what your heart health is. We have it in black or white, and none of this is used as a tool to beat people with. And in actual fact, it's the complete opposite. It's to help people make informed decisions. So
Well, that's something that for me that I struggle at times with things like this because I am a very logical thinking type of person, very black and white
yeah,
thinking where I like to see data.
yeah,
You know, how do you measure
yeah,
success? How do you measure that you've made progress with things like this?
yeah,
So the fact that you've got those reports, you've got the Whoop sort
yeah,
of on the personal health
yeah,
saying and measuring all of that
yeah,
is something that would help me feel like I am making progress. I can see changes.
yeah. Well, biggest success recently has been that my heart rate variability has increased by something like 15%, which is amazing, which is incredible.
Uh,
And that is started, just moving more, eating better, having drunken a few weeks. But I'm also, what Whoop allows you to do, you can almost enter like a group WhatsApp on Whoop where I'm in it with three other business owners. So there's four of us, and we can see each other's strain, recovery, sleep, heart health, all the rest of it. And what I love about Whoop, I think other wearables, well, some of these things people just measure how hard are you training. I think it's very important if you're measuring how hard you're training, how hard are you recovering as well?
mm,
How hard are you sleeping? How hard is your health, your heart working? And so just having that wee bit of accountability where I can see the other three business owners doing a bit every day. It's not about busting yourself, but can you do it? Can you go for a walk, for example? Instead of just, if you have a busy day at the laptop, can you go for a walk and get your steps in? But also the accountabilities there where if somebody's not in the green for a few days in a row, you can message and say, do you need help? Is there anything we can do for you? You should maybe think about, an early night or pulling back. You look as if you're getting it tight. And that in itself, that accountability around your health, I think is life changing in itself. It truly is. And I'm basing that off the fact that for 6 weeks, I could not get out of yellow. Despite knowing this,
hmm
I didn't have the accountability, I didn't have the systems in place. My cognitive ability to pick up on all the signs was diminished. And so I ended up in that rut. Now, the thing is, I talk about a direction of travel. I wasn't moving towards green. The reality is the days and weeks went on, I was going towards red. But what is red? It's a complete nervous breakdown, essentially, where your nervous system just needs to reboot. That leads to depression. It leads to chronic anxiety, stress. We need to avoid that. Like, that's not what business is about. It's not what life's about. It's to be lived. It's to be fulfilled. It's to have good relationships. It's to enjoy the process. It's to have that sense of ownership, that sense of purpose. That you feel part of the journey of life, as opposed to, like, it breaks my heart when I hear so many business owners say, "I don't have time." The reality is that's all we have. Is that it?
I think that's a good place to end it.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, here, can I just put in a
and yeah, put it. I think what could even
just
fade out of that and then come back in, and then you give a last sort of message,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah. So if you have been listening to this and you're thinking, that's me, I am successful on paper, but I'm tired. I am burnt out. I've built something, but I feel a bit trapped by it. Then reach out. And so what you'll find in the description of this podcast, whether you're listening or whether you're watching, is a link to a waiting list. And on that waiting list, I'll give you a bit more information, including the price. And I suppose before you query the price, and I think it's very, very reasonable, I suppose, for transparency, it's £6,000 for a year. So that's £1,500 per quarter, with access to all these people that you would really struggle to get access to. And there is an option to pay quarterly. And I can almost guarantee that even on the first day when you get your welcome gift with the journal, the pen, the Whoop, the group of people that you're going through this with, the experts that you have access to, you will feel from day one that it's worth every single penny. But before you query the price, and again, to be transparent, it's not for anyone. And I would actually say that if you don't have the money, do not be getting a credit card, do not be doing anything like that. Perhaps see if it's for you next year or the year after. The reality is it's for people that are in a certain position within their business. But if you're thinking, oh, I'll just get up and get on with it, I suppose ask yourself the question, what is my relationships worth? What is my health worth? What is life itself worth? And then we can have a conversation about, is this for you? And hopefully you feel as if it's time to make an investment in life as opposed to just your business. Make an investment in your health, in your relationships, and hopefully I will see you in January 2026 when this all starts. Thank you.